Okay, it should be recording. Okay, so welcome. This is our Mobility Wednesdays. Okay, as you notice, I'm barefooted. Okay, if you can be barefooted, great. That will really help for you to work with your foot. So I'm going to use my chair. I'm going to use some of the tea towels that I have. And one of the things I'm going to use today, which I've used before, which I don't know if you have, is a pole. Okay? So my pole is right here. So this is a pole. And you can have no more than just a broom handle. It could even have the broom on it. Nicole, would you hand me a broom? Just a regular broom. So I just have to be careful because when I go up like this, I might hit my fan. So if you could get yourself a pole, it's going to really help us today. This one is like specifically for this, but seriously, if I just had this, or if you had this, see this? A broom. See? Just use a broom. That's all you need. You could even use an umbrella. If you have a longer umbrella, that would be fine too. So even if you have something like this, this is going to work today. Anytime you do work where you're laying down on the floor and you can use a pole, wow, that's going to help facilitate your mobility big time. It's just going to really help you to stay shoulders mobile, and you're not going to realize how much this facilitates until you get a pole in your hand. This one is done so that you can put it back like this and not hit your head, but you don't have to have that. You can have just a regular pole. Excuse me. I don't have COVID. I just ate some almonds. So I'm coughing because the little granules got stuck. Here we go. We're warming up. See my pole? I'm barefooted, right? So I'm going to go step, and I'm going to go right to there. I'm not going to go up with it. It's just going to be right here. Then I'm going to go swing, okay? So here is a type of a pendulum type of a swing. Now, if you don't have a pole, you can just hold a tea towel. So I'm going to go side, hold, side, and I'm tapping. See, if you don't tap, you won't get the hold. You'll just kind of keep going back and forth, back and forth. See, but if I tap 1, 2, 3, what does that do? Well, it starts loading my back extensors, number one. It starts loading in a positive way my supported leg. See? So I'm going nice and slow because I'm warming up. I'm using a pole. And the minute I come into this tap, 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 I want to say rib cage up. Right there, rib cage up. Right there, rib cage up. So here's the deal, y'all. This class, and any of my classes, there's some moves that many of you have done in physical therapy. Okay? Or they're a little, they're just a very small move that if you do, you know, a lot of repetitions of them, and when I mean a lot, I'm talking about 30. I'm talking about 3 sets of 10. See, that's kind of what we're looking at to get strong when you have a damaged, an injury, a non-functional muscle, a non-functional joint, or it hurts. You have to get to where you can do about 30 repetitions with no pain and in the right form. So this class is doing just that. So with this pole like this, now I've gone side to side, and I've gone enough times to where if you were doing it with me, you started feeling it being hot right here, right? So if you were not turning your toe, you know, funny, if you kept your toe pointing out, and you did that tap, tap, tap. You didn't lift. You just did tap, tap, tap with a rib cage up. Wow, does it make you start heating up right here? That's what I wanted. So now, as I started feeling that now, I'm ready to come into a hip hinge, a high hip hinge with a pole. Hi, y'all coming on. So we're just finishing up a warm-up for our mobility class today. So I got my little pole, okay? And it can be a broom handle. It can be a umbrella. It can be any of those kind of things. But now I'm doing a high hip hinge. See this? Listen, do not discount this small movement, especially as you're breathing. When you come into this small hip hinge, or high hip hinge, I should say that. I'm not going deep, but I want you to do 10 like this. See, with me. Then we're going to do about 10 with our toes in a totally different position. But I got this pole, so I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to start to swing right to here. Now, look at where my positioning is with my pole. See this? I do not take my arms in this position up. I'm right here. I'm going to go from here to here, no higher. I'm going to keep going. Breath. So I'm doing a hip hinge. I'm keeping my chin tucked. If I were with you right this minute, I would be behind you, standing back here, and I would put my hands on your shoulders. Because the minute that some of you come to here, you do two things. You lift your shoulders, or you lift this too high. I'm not doing this move. I'm doing this move. My shoulders are down, and I only come out at the armpit, okay, or the shoulder joint. I don't go any higher. And my elbows are soft, okay? They're very soft. I wonder if somebody's trying to get me. Okay. Breath, right there. Okay, we've done about 10 now. Now, I'm going to turn my toes out, and I'm going to come just a little bit narrower. But here's what I want you to notice. When I hip hinge and I come into this move with my toes out, I am not bending my knees that much, okay? I'm just not. I'm hip hinging in a high. I'm doing this. I'm breathing in, exhale. And my toes are out, but my knees don't come out over my toes, okay? But this position has great implications for using pelvic floor muscles, and you hardly know it, but it's very important. So whereas I'm doing this, and I'm coming up and down with my toes out, I am not bending my knees way out over my toes. See, this is a whole different move. It doesn't feel hard, but it's a very important move for anybody that has pelvic floor weakness. And when I say that, many of you who have this problem know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, I'm talking about incontinence. It will stop you from doing activities. Well, this move with your toes out, this move with your toes straight, this move with your toes in are one of the very moves. It's not hard. It's just that when you're doing it with a therapist, you're doing it. They're not doing it. I'm doing it with you. It tends to make you stay with it, even though you think that's not doing anything. It's doing more than you know, especially if you're breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. Your toes are in now. See how they're in? See, I'm going high. So these are perfect moves for warming up because they're affecting your pelvic floor muscles. And they're not hard with your legs because that's not what we're doing it for. Okay, about 3 more here. I'm going to keep my chin tucked. I'm going to keep my rib cage up. I got my little bar right here. I'm pushing into a high hip hinge. I am not, when I go into this move, my knees are not coming out over my toes, so I'm not hurting my knees here, Okay, one more. Take a breath and come up. Nice. Now I'm right here with my bar, right? So now I'm going to go cross and turn my bar back. See that? Then I'm going to come in. So this is our mobility day. I'm doing this with bare feet. So I went over this way. Now I'm going to go over this way. I'm going to put my foot all the way over here, but look at my feet position. The feet are forward, okay? My knees are soft. My shoulders are down, and I say rib cage up, and I pull like that, okay? Then I come back to neutral stance. Now let me ask you a question right now. When you went back to neutral stance, how does your knees feel? Many of you went to neutral stance and you locked your knees back. Don't lock your knees back. Soften your knees. They're not really bent, but they're softened. That gives a whole different trajectory to this type of a move. So don't lock your knees as you're turning here, okay? Look at your feet. Your toes should be pretty straight, all right? Drop your shoulders. Say rib cage up. Now really take that bar all the way around. Yeah. Take a breath. Some of you are holding your breath. Okay, here I come back to neutral. I'm going to go to neutral, but I'm not going to lock my knees, right? Okay, rib cage up. Drop your shoulder, drop your shoulders, and drop your chin. Step all the way over here as far as you can. Correct your feet position. Now pull with that bar. Drop your shoulders. Yeah, drop your shoulders. Breathe. Breath. Breath. Drop your shoulders. Breath. How's your knees? Right now, pull that hand behind you. Really pull it. Now come back to center. Neutral, center. Yeah, soft knees. Big breath. Good job. Okay, now I'm going to take my pole. I'm going to turn it like this, and I have to be careful because I have a fan up here. So I'm going to step forward, okay? I'm going to hold one hand up here and one hand like this. So now I'm forward, but I am not bending my back, okay? So I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to rotate my shoulders. Now, when I do this rotation, I want to really press into that front leg. My back leg is down. My heel is down on the floor, okay? So I'm going to go rotate, rotate, rotate. Those of you that are coming on and you have shoulder issues, I am telling you, if you've done therapy, I can tell you you've used a pole, okay? That pole will, P-O-W-E-L, pole. I know how to say it. Pole. I think that's how y'all say it. Pole. Okay. P-O-L-E. All right. See this? See, this keeps me from raising my hand too far up. Okay. At the same time right now, I am really pushing that heel down. And every once in a while, I'll do a little bend and I'll press my heel down again. Okay. So right now, say rib cage up, because some of you have started doing this. Don't do that. Say rib cage up. You've got your hands right here and you're rotating. See that? And I'm going bend, press into the heel. Bend, press into the heel. Wow, I wish you could see the snow out here today. It is beautiful. Yeah, a little weird, but it's beautiful. Rib cage up. Say rib cage up again. Breathe. See, bend that back knee. Push the heel down. Bend the back knee. Push the heel down. Okay, keep bringing your chin down. Bringing your chin down. See, my ear, my shoulder, my hip should be right in line. If I'm doing this, they're not in line. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're doing this. Okay, just one or two more bent knees. And I'm specifically wanting to hold you in this position for a reason. Okay, take a breath. Okay, Kathy is probably screaming right now. You said one more, and that's 3. Okay, come back with the front leg. Come back. Okay, step out with the other one. Now you're going to step out pretty far, but I really want you to go back. So adjust your back foot so that it's a wide range here. Okay, once you've done the widest range that you feel comfortable doing, say rib cage up, drop my chin, drop my shoulders. Now I'm going to do some rotations with the shoulders with my bar, but I'm going to push it right out here in front, and then I'm going to come right back in here. So watch the trajectory of your elbows, okay? So while I do this, I'm going to bend my knee, and then I'm going to press that heel down hard. Then I'm going to bend the knee in the back. I'm going to press it down as these come back. So what I want you to be aware of is where are your elbows position, okay? So as I'm coming back, see, I don't have them up here. I don't have them down here. I have them here, but my shoulders are down. So anybody that wants to keep active with golfing, with gardening, with pickleball, with all those kinds of real fun things, and there's a whole host of other activities that you use your shoulders, that you get into trouble because you haven't done these types of moves to keep you really strong enough and doing enough to give you some endurance. So see how my hands are coming out? When they come back, they're at the level of my shoulder or armpit. Look at my elbows. Look at your elbows. And if you need to adjust, adjust. But when I'm out here, I want to drop down, bring that knee down, and then put that heel down. So I'm working really hard through my feet, through my lower leg, and on the front leg, I'm using my front leg as my stabilizer. So the quad is starting to activate, not a lot, but a little. So right about now, if you have really been doing this with me and you're watching your elbow position and you're taking breaths and you're exhaling, inhaling, you should start feeling quite a hot muscle in your shoulder. Yes, not in the joint, in the muscle. Take a breath, stay with me. Try to get one or two more, just one or two more, just do it. Take a breath. Don't lean in, don't lean in. Here we go, one more. Breath, and push the heel down, and drop your arms, okay? And then come back up. So I wanted you to stay in that position because you probably started feeling a lot of heat through the hip. You started feeling heat through here. That's appropriate. And up here, but not in your joint, okay? Because you didn't go too high. Because that's what you always want to do, right? Okay. So I'm going to put my little pole like right here. So mine's long enough to do that. But even if, let's say you don't have a pole like this, okay, which is specifically for this. Let's say you just have a broom, okay? So some of you that have come on, you're going, I don't have a pole like that. Get an umbrella, a long umbrella, or a broom, okay? So it helps if it's cleaned off, you know. I'm just saying. Okay, you can do this with a broom, okay? So either or, get your pole, get it in position, because you're going to be using it. All right, so here's my pole. So I'm going to put it right here, just like that. All right. This is Wednesday mobility class, right? Right. So I'm going to put my pole here. I'm going to take and push down. So I'm pushing down on the pole. So as I push down, I'm going to hip hinge just a tiny bit. Then I'm going to bring my one leg up. I'm pushing down on the pole. At this point right now, your supporting foot, see, I overbalanced. I had to put my foot down. So the point is you've got a point of balance here with the pole. You're pushing down, and you got your balance on your foot, right? So just beware. You have to put your foot down, put it down. So I'm going to take this leg up. I'm going to open at the hip. and I'm going to bring it back in. Okay, so I'm going to come right here. So this is my hip replaced side. So those of you with hips replaced, I understand. So I'm not asking you to do a move that's going to put your hip in a problem. We are doing a huge mobility range right now, using your supported leg and your foot. You're pushing down, you're using your core, you're opening your whole leg. See, I'm not keeping one foot here. I'm opening the whole leg. See, push down, keep your your center of gravity right in there. Now put your foot down. Here's what you should be feeling if you're doing this correctly. This was my lifted leg, right? I'm pushing down, and I stayed in that move to where, man, I was feeling a lot of heat over here, okay? Good, that's what we want. At the same time, you're giving stability. You are really working through your hip mobility, which translates to pelvic floor muscle, okay? So right here, and you're breathing, exhale, inhale. Keep it going regularly. That is using your breathing muscles, which is also part of your pelvic floor function. Okay, so shift. Ready? I'm going to bring, this is my challenge side, actually, to hold balance on. This is my challenge side. So I'm going to turn over here. My knee is soft. My shoulders are down. Chin is tucked. I'm a tiny bit hip hinged, just a tiny bit. I'm going to bring my other foot up as I push down on the pole. My knee is soft. Don't over lean. That would be my caution. That's my little trainer's tip. It's real easy to hold your balance if you're leaning. So what I'm telling you is stay upright. Don't over lean. Try your best to get your leg up here as high as you feel you can. And then you're going to push down on your bar, and you're going to open that knee. Then you're going to come back. Take breaths. Take breaths. Open, 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 open. Hold, and then come back. Keep your knee soft. Keep your hip hinged. Pushing down on the bar. Pushing down. Rotate, 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 rotate. This one is so hard for me. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. Bring it back in. I can do one more, and then I'm going to have to take a break. Here we go. Open, 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 open. Breath, and then come back and put your foot down. Okay, that should have got your attention. Everybody has a stronger and a weaker side. I can tell you my weaker side is my hip replaced side. So much less stability when you have hip issues. Now, those of you who found this very hard to do, to hold your balance, and that was very hard for me. Sometimes you'll have this and you'll have to put your hand on another balance, okay, medium. So this would be a shelf or a table. Here's my pole. Yeah, I want to use this. I want to use this lightly. And then if you need that to get this rotation going, that's how you modify it. So don't just say, it's too hard, I can't do it, okay? If you're walking around, you can modify things to get some of these weaker muscles up to snuff, so to speak, okay? So keep your, if you need another point of balance when you're doing this rotation out, see? So this is my challenged side because this, I have less stability. But I want to get that whole open thing without leaning. So I'm showing you the modification. Use it. This kind of a rotation, this is great implications for pelvic floor. All these muscles that I'm using right now to rotate this thing out, and we're going to do it again on the floor. We're going to do a rotation of this very move. And you see, I'm showing you the modification. So my weak side is what I'm standing on. for balance because of my hip being replaced. And I'm thinking of all those out there that have a hip replaced, a knee replaced, both hips replaced. You must, if you're going to do this standing, get this second point of balance here. It's just too hard. I know exactly how you're feeling. Take a breath. So I'm going to do one more here. So I'm going to do, see, a few more on my weaker side. So you do a few more if you can on that weaker side, okay? Because it needs a little more help to bring that strength up, all right? So big deep breath. Yeah, everybody feeling pretty good? I hope so. So I'm going to take my bar and I'm going to put it behind my back, okay? So I'm going to put it right here behind my back, and I'm going to hold on back here. Now I'm thinking on this move, I'm thinking of people, especially, I'm going to name drop here. I'm thinking of Kay. I'm thinking of Marilyn. I'm thinking of people that really are working hard to stand up straight. You put that little stinking broom, go ahead and sweep your kitchen, but before you put the broom in the corner, and I'll do it with my own broom so that you see, this is a fancy dancy bar. I mean, it's specifically to do some of the work I'm doing. However, it doesn't matter. You can we do this in my class, for instance, at school. I just have a bunch of wooden dowels. That's all. It's their favorite. They love the dowels, okay? So if I just had a broom, I'd be standing here like this, but do you see what it's doing with my shoulders? My shoulders are down. My chin is tucked, but my elbows are down, okay? Man, is it stretching right here, which is what we need to do, but we need to do it gently, okay? So drop your shoulders, pretend my hands are on your shoulders, and just kind of hang out here for a second. See this? So what you're going to do is you're going to do little touchdowns. So we did the knee way up, right? And we rotated out, right? So we're giving our foot a lot of work to do right now. So what I want you to do is I want you to curl your toes on one foot, curl your toes up so that you do kind of a dome with your foot. Only one foot, then shift into that and just go tap, tap, tap. Then shift into the other one. Pull your toes in, make a dome of your foot, drop your shoulders, ribcage up, keep these hands back here. So you've just hooked them back here on your little bar. You should be stretching the front of your shoulders like you can't believe. So I'm going to shift into that domed foot. So I've got pressure coming into those curled up toes. I'm going to go tap, tap, tap. See how that works? Then I'm going to go shift. My knees are soft. My shoulders are definitely down. I'm shifting. But before I shift, I'm going to curl my toes under like I'm trying to scrunch up a tea towel. Okay, now I'm going to go tap, tap, tap. Then I'm going to go shift. I'm going to scrunch my toes up. Drop your shoulders again. Drop your shoulders. Yeah, you should be feeling this by now. Those of us who are really working at realigning ourselves so that we're not walking all scrunched over. This is one of my go-to moves because people will put a bar back here and they'll do a few swing outs and then they put the bar away. No, no, no. We're holding this for about 1 to 3 minutes is what we're doing, okay? So curl your toes, shift, put pressure on those curled, that domed foot, and then go tap, 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 tap. So anybody that has issues with feet, I don't care if it's Achilles problems, okay, scrunch your toes, then put pressure, soften your knee, and then go tap, tap, tap. This is a big exercise for your feet, your Achilles, all your lower leg, okay? Big breath, okay? Don't hold your breath. Always in and out and kind of be conscious of, do the little tapping How are you breathing? Whenever I say breathe, 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 do you notice that your shoulders are coming up and down? Or are you breathing in and out with your diaphragm? Okay, it matters. And it matters for people who have trouble with incontinence, okay? So this is the breathing muscles really come into play here. So here I go. I'm going to go tap, 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 and come down. Now drop your shoulders, okay? If you've held this bar back here with your shoulders down this whole time, I can tell you you're feeling it right through here. That should tell you just how far we're starting to stoop, okay? But here's the deal. Even if you have, you can retrain. You still can retrain. Your muscles are capable of doing that. So I just want to encourage you to know, pick 1 to 3 moves that we're doing today that you're like, I am going to do that one every day. So this would be one of them that we just did, okay? Now I'm going to take my bar and I'm going to hold it like this. See that? Just like that, all right? Just like that. And I'm going to go up, 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 up. See that? So I'm helping my arm, right? I'm going to go down, 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 right? And then I'm going to turn, switch your hand position. You're going to go up, 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 up. See that? So I'm raising my hand. Then I'm going to come down, 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 down. Switch positions. I'm going to go up, 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 up. My little finger is leading. Whenever I raise my hand, I'm going to raise my hand up there. Once I get this trajectory, see this? Once I figure this out, now I'm going to add a lower body compound move to this whole thing. So again, there are those of you out there that have shoulder issues that you've done physical therapy, and then when you quit physical therapy, you quit doing any of those moves. I know, because I know all of our sluggy ways, you know. I'm not calling you a green slug. I'm just calling you a slug, okay? Because I tend to be a slug. So we're doing the therapy work that is very necessary for good functioning of a shoulder once you've hurt it. So see this? So now I just change. I put my little finger leading and I raise my hand. See that? So one hand is helping the other hand and you're getting to where you can do. And if you have no injuries, well, good for you. You want to avoid it. So just keep doing this. So see how I'm going? Now I'm going to add the lower. Are you ready? I'm going to keep doing this and I'm going to raise my hand up there and I'm going to do a strike and a lift. So I'm going to turn, 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 turn. Now I'm going to do a strike. And here's the modification for those of you who really have double hips replaced, back issues. Just keep your foot back here. You struck the match, see, with your foot as you lifted. If you can bring your heel to your hip, well, good. If you can't, then don't worry about it. Then come back, rotate, rotate, rotate. Are you ready? First thing you do, take a breath. Second thing you do, drop your shoulders. Third thing you do, pull your tummy in. Shift. You're going to lift with your little finger leading. You're going to go way up with it, okay? And you're going to strike the match, and you're going to bring your heel to your hip just for a second or two. And then you're going to switch. Little finger leads, lift, strike the match, bring your heel to your hip. But what you don't want to do when you're doing this move is, number one, lean excessively. So just keep saying rib cage up, little finger leads. You're going to lift, you're going to shift, you're going to strike the match, and you're going to pull that heel in. But what you're not going to do is pull this knee out. You want to keep your knee headed down. Okay? Rotate, 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 rotate. Okay, little finger leads. Here I go. Shift, Say rib cage up, strike the match, lift, going all the way up there. If you can bring your heel off the ground, great. If you can't, do not worry about it. You just put you strike the match with your toes and you leave your toe back there and you reach up. That is perfectly fine. Okay, so I hope you're getting these modifications. Okay, rotate down, shoulders down, rib cage up, shift, tight tummy, and you're striking the match. I'm lifting my arm way up there and I'm bringing my heel to my hip. Take a big breath, big breath, big breath. Bring it back down, bring it back down, bring it back down. Nice. If you did that correctly and you did as many as I did with you, you should be feeling your back extensors, your gluteals, all your muscles in the back of your legs starting to zing just a little bit. Okay, so here's my bar. I'm going to put it down right beside my little chair here. Okay, so you see what I have on my chair? I have the little pad on my chair because I want to put the heels of my hands on that pad. Okay, so I'm going to do a holding pattern. I'm not going to do push-ups per se or push-backs. I'm just going to pull my hips out. So I'm going to go back and put my butt on the chair. I'm going to open my feet. And this big, 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 big important thing right now is drop your shoulders. Okay, drop your shoulders. That keeps them safe. Now put a little pressure on your hands and bring your hips up. Okay, so you're going to hold it right there and you're going to keep your elbows bending. See this? See this tiny bend? You can even step out if you want to. See that? So say rib cage up. It's a tiny little bend in this position, a tiny bend. But your elbows should be pointing back toward the back of the chair, not out. So I'm just going to go push, push, push into the elbow. So this is just called just elbow bending. See, just like that. My pressure is all in the back part of my upper back. It's all back in there. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. Hang on. Hang on. One more, one more, one more. And bring your butt back and sit on that little pad. Okay? Shake out your hands. Shake out your hands. Shake out your hands. Take a big deep breath. Pull those hands, the fingers, back with an extended arm. Okay? Now, when you're doing this, I've actually taken a break like this after doing something like that and had people go immediately into this hunched back position. If you find yourself doing that, you can do it for a second, but then I want you to say rib cage up and then drop your hand like this, pull those fingers back, okay? Keeping your shoulders down. So you should be feeling this all up through your forearm. This is a very good move to do for any of you that are starting to kick up your gardening, you're outside, you're sweeping. Even if you don't have a garden, you're outside sweeping or raking. Periodically take a break, drop your shoulders, say rib cage up, and just pull those fingers back, okay? Take a breath, pull back. Take a breath, pull back. Shake them out, shake them out, shake them out. Okay, now we're ready to go to the floor. So I'm pretty sure you can see me when I go down to the floor. I'm going to make sure. Yes, okay. So here I am. So I'm going to come to my chair. You can use your pad under your knees. That would be perfectly fine, but I have my bar down here because I am going to use my bar down on the ground. Okay, so as I go down, I'm going to really push my hands through the chair. I'm going to drop my forehead to the pad. I'm going to be really stretching back. I'm going to push back through the butt, but I'm going to be reaching out through the back of the chair with my hands. So this is a big move, okay? Hold it there for just 15 to 30 seconds. So my forehead's on that pad. So it's no strain. It's just a big movement pattern. Okay, bring the hands back. Come down just like a runner's stretch. See here? My knees at the front of the chair. I'm pushing my heel down again. So I'm pushing it down. I'm really trying to help my calf tightness to leave me. And when we come up, we'll go into this position for the other leg. Okay? So don't forget. So I'm going to put them both back. We'll just do them right now, I guess. That way, I might go into another form before I come back up. So bring the other leg back up. Keep the back leg, the back heel down. Keep your chin tucked. Do not lock your elbows here, okay? You got to keep your elbows soft. Take a big breath. So you're pushing down into the heel really good, all right? Now I'm going to just go ahead and rotate, and I'm going to bring my knee down, okay, because I'm going to get down into the floor. If you don't want to get down into the floor, again, you can do this whole thing on the floor on your bed. Perfectly fine. You can do a lot of what we're going to do on the floor just sitting in the chair. So you get to decide that. But if you can, I want you to come on down, take a big breath, and I'm on all fours to start with. And again, you can put your knees on the pad if you want to, if you have problems with knees. That would be fine. But I'm going to be on all fours to begin with right now, right here, okay? So open your knees, all right? So you're about shoulder width apart. You're going to take one leg back. And when you take the leg back, here's what I'm going to tell you right on the get-go. Do not, when you take your leg back, two things. Don't lock your elbows and don't turn your hip. See, when we go to lift, many of you are going to turn your hip. That would be a mistake, okay? So drop that hip down, squeeze your gluteal, and then lift the whole leg. So once the leg is in place and you've corrected this hip, see, it's going to sneak up there. Don't let it. Tight tummy, soft elbow. Once you've got your foot up, now and only now are you going to bring the opposite hand up. The opposite hand, and you're going to reach out over your chair. Okay? So the chair gives a really good target because then you come up enough and you're going to hold it there. You're going to count 3. Then you're going to bring that down and bring the leg down. Okie dokie. This is called a quadruped. So it's a superior exercise, but it takes time. And so I'm doing it with you. So if I'm doing it with you, then you don't have any excuses, right? Okay, rotate. Get your pressure on your other knee now. And your other legs are going to go out there, right? Tight tummy. Don't lock your elbows. Bring the leg right up to from the hip. Then the opposite hand is going to come up and reach out over that pad. Okay? Take a breath. Use it if you need to, but try to keep it suspended in the air if you can. Don't lock your arm. So it's 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. So I'm just telling you right now, we're going to do 4 of these. Stay with me. Okay, other leg. It goes straight back. And then I'm going to tighten my gluteal, lift the leg. Then I'm going to reach that hand out over that chair. So you can do this. Don't lock your elbow. Take a breath. Keep the leg right up at the hip level. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. Bring it down. Take the other leg back. Now before you lift, tighten your tummy. Squeeze your gluteal. Lift the leg. Okay, here we go. Out with the arm. Okay. And check your posture. Make sure your elbow is not locked. Take a breath. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Okay? Big breath. Here we go. All the way back. Lift. Squeeze that butt. Bring that arm out. Soften your joint in your elbow. Reaching. Keep your chin tucked. Don't drop your head. Switch, switch, switch. Leg goes back. Squeeze the butt. Lift. Here we go. Reach. Right there. Breath, 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 breath. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. Okay, let's just say we got one more. Kathy will be screaming at me, but I think we got one more. Here we go. All the way up. Reach. Breath. Hold. Keep that butt tight. Breath. 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 Bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it in. Rotate. Other leg goes. Keep your hip down. Squeeze the butt. Lift. And the arm goes out. Breath. 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 Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Down and down. Nice. So here we go. I'm going to just like sit down on the floor. See that? I'm going to sit right down. Okay, I'm going to go to my elbow. Those of you with significant shoulder issues, this might be too much. If that's the case, you're just going to put your hands under here and you're going to lay right down like that. Okay? Perfectly fine. Just like this. Because you're going to do the little clam move. Now, if you want to work your shoulder a little more, then you can be in this position. That's fine. You get to choose. But my knees are pretty bent. See? My ankles are going to stay roped together. So whether I'm here or whether I'm here, it doesn't matter. I'm going to lift a little tiny bit and then bring it down. See this? So anybody that has wonky hips or they have wonky shoulders, this is the position. So I'm trying to give you modifications. I got a lot of different fitness levels that are coming in. But I'm telling you, if you keep this hip forward and you don't roll, this right here in about 6 repetitions, you should be, especially if you have hip issues, you're going to feel this in your groin and you're going to feel it in a real hot spot right back here. But you see, it's a tiny move. See this? So if you do this correctly, it's a very tiny move. If you aren't on your elbow, look at my shoulder. Don't do this. This is a mistake. Pull your shoulder in. Okay? So anybody that has hips replaced, let's say you have arthritis in the hip, let's say you have whatever, bursitis, tendonitis, I'm telling you, this move has great implications for pelvic floor function and for hip function and back function. But you got to do this right. Some of you are rolling back. I know it. So pretend I'm there and I put my hand here and I pushed you forward. Now try to lift. It's very different. See, I'm doing this with you, so I know all these little cheater moves. So I'm saying, if you're going to take the time to do this, do it right. And it should be hard, especially if you have hip issues. It's going to be hard because you've got some weaknesses, imbalances in through your hip and your whole pelvic floor, everything. Okay, just 3 more. Here we go. Okay, stay forward, stay forward. Keep your chin tucked. One more. Here we go. And bring it back down. Okay, this should be very fatigued right now. That's appropriate. So I'm going to come right to here. Okay, my dogs are protecting me. Lay down. Okay, so we're right here. Now, I know for some of you, this is really hard to sit this way. We're fixing to go over onto the other side to do that little clammy thing. Okay, but before we do that, we're doing this little inner set. So this is a range of motion or mobility class today. This is part of that mobility training that I'm trying to get you to do. So I'm going to go from here to closing at my hip and then opening. And I'm going to pay attention to where I feel stretch. Okay, so I can tell you my stretched leg on this move is on my knee replacement side. I'm much tighter in my calf and in my hamstring than on the hip replace side. So here's the deal. When I do this fold forward, some of you are rounding your back. So what I want you to do is say rib cage up, and then I want to act like my whole back, like it's a board, is going forward with my feet in dorsiflexion. So opposite than pointing your toes, bringing it up. Now I'm going to go down and I'm going to just feel that stretch, and then I'm going to go back off of it. So don't hold it. But see my legs? My legs are straight. Okay? Take a breath. Move yourself forward as if you were going to touch your toes, but I don't want you to, because the minute you reach out, many of you are going to round your back. I'm trying to avoid rounding your back. I'm going in and back open through the hip. In and back open, and I'm going to feel that tightness, and I'm going to hang on for a second, and then I'm going to come back. And after you've done, I don't know, 3 to 6 of those, the hit the stretch, hold it for a second and come back, you're going to move more. You're going to be able to move in there just a little more. See? So this is how you start to increase your range of motion. Now I'm going to point my toes. Okay, give them a break, point, bring them back, flex. Now, I should have told you the modification way earlier. If you're sitting in a chair, see, you just put your feet out and you just lean in. That's all. And you do it with one leg straight and one leg bent. You don't keep them both straight if you're sitting in a chair doing this, okay? You lean in, then you come back. You lean in, and then you come back. See that? Okay. It's a great plan to help increase your mobility all through the back part of your legs. Okay, so always keep one knee bent if you have back issues. Okay, here we are. We're going to do the other side, little clammy move. All right? So at first when you do this clammy move, it feels like nothing. After about 6 repetitions, you start to feel this heating up. And some of you who might have issues with your hips are going to feel it through the groin. Okay, it's going to be like a, oh boy, I feel that type of reaction. So I can either do what? 2 ways, right? If I choose my elbow, then I'm going to put pressure through my whole shoulder. If that's too much, then you just fold and you come right here and you just put a pillow under your head, or you put your hands together. See that? So you get to choose which position. These are very bent, and then you act like you're tying your ankles together. Once you've done that and you open that top knee, okay, notice, put your hand right here, because when you start to come up here, if you open very much, I can tell you're rolling. I don't want you to roll. Okay, so don't worry about how high you're getting that knee. What I want you to worry about is keeping that hip closed forward. Okay, then bring that knee up. It's quite a different move. Okay, so push the hip forward. Now bring it up. Breath. Don't hold your breath. Keep your ankles together. Do that little clam open, but don't roll your hip. Watch your shoulder here. If this is the position you've chosen, maybe you're down on the ground. That's perfectly fine, but you cannot roll your hip. Keep it closed. Keep lifting. Breath. Lifting. Breath. Lifting. Breath. Yeah. Hang on. And if you can do half, leaning here on your elbow, and then you need to do the other half down, well, hey, that's perfectly fine. But what you cannot do, you should be screaming, don't roll your hip. Yeah. So I'm just rolling. Let's just do about 3 more, okay? Keep your hip forward, keep your hip forward, keep your hip forward. Breath, 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 breath. Ah, nice. Okay, since we're here in this position, we're going to go right ahead and roll into as if we were going to get up. But we didn't. We changed our mind. See, we're right here, and we're not going to go ahead and get our knees under us. See this? So I'm right here. So I'm going to put my hand, get my elbows in, and I'm going to push myself up. So this is called a sideline push-up, okay? It's what you need to do if you're going to get out of bed a lot of times, okay? It's a very functional move. So you see, I just stay this position. I keep my knees here. I don't move them. I rotate. I put my hands under me, and I just drop and lift, and I just drop and lift, and I just drop and I lift. Okay? Take a big breath. Now I'm going to act like I'm going to go ahead and get up. But in fact, I'm going to go to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and act like I'm going to get up. So if you have not done push-ups for a very long time, I would suggest this is a great way to start getting upper body strength and not being so hard on your shoulders. So see, I find myself doing the little clam move position. I'm going to keep my knees here, okay? I may separate them, but then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go ahead and act like I'm going to get myself up, but then I don't. That's the position for the sideline push-up. So tummies are in, shoulders are down. When I go down, I'm going to push my elbows back. I am not going to do this. See, that's a flare. I'm going to bring my elbows in. I'm going to bring my shoulders down. And I'm going to come down with more so the chest. And so I don't want people straining their neck and going down with their neck first. That's why I have to keep my chin tucked. So now I'm doing this sideline push-up. Okay, take a breath. Take a breath. Keep the elbows in. Take a breath. And if I want to, I can gently turn my head to one side so the cheek is down. Then I turn it and the other cheek is down. And then I'm going to really turn it. Keep those elbows in. Keep them tucked. Keep them tucked. Keep them tucked. Yeah, don't flare them. Okay, turn, breath. And one more. And here I am. Okay? Take a breath. I'm going to go ahead and lie down. Now, if you have chosen to not get in the floor, fine. Again, you can do all of this from a bed, or what you're going to do now is you would stand up and you would put your hands on the chair, okay? And so pretend I'm standing right here. I can put my hands on the chair. I'm going to bend my knee until I feel a stretch come up through the quad. So I'm going to do both of them. So drop your shoulders, drop your chin. If you're standing, you're going to be in a little bit of a hyperextension. We've done that many, many, many times. I'll show it to you in just a minute. So you can be standing, putting your hands on the chair, and you pull one heel until you feel the stretch coming through the quad. So right there, you should be feeling that quad stretch, the front of your thigh. Once you've done that, now the work starts. The tight tummy. So I'm going to bring the heel up, see? And then I'm going to, now I am going to roll because I'm in fact going to lift my foot up just a tiny bit. This is going to be hard, okay? So you shift, you bring your heel up. I'm changed now. Now I'm going to squeeze my butt and I'm going to go up as if I was going to put the bottom of my foot on the ceiling. See, I'm just going to lift. And for some of you, this is going to be very difficult because this has to do with pelvic floor, that has to do with gluteal, it has to do with back, wow, shoulders. Now, if this is hurting, if this is a problem on your shoulders and you don't want to put that much pressure, because this is kind of a modified plank position. And if a plank bothers your shoulders, then you're going to do the whole thing down here, just like this. See? Perfectly fine modification. Keep your forehead on your hands. Lift. Forehead on your hands. Lift. Breath. Roll. Tighten your gluteal. And you're just going to reach the bottom of the foot to the ceiling. Squeeze your butt. So you're turning one cheek muscle on, then the other cheek muscle. Breath. One more. So I went down here, or I can stay here. Okay, and it's going to be a challenge. This move is one that you don't get into much. All right. So now I'm going to rotate. I'm going to bring my legs in. I'm going to get my little pole, okay, or my broom, or my umbrella, whichever one you want to do, okay? And I'm going to come right here, and I'm just going to take one hand down, and I'm going to really use it to facilitate lifting this up. And I'm going to really push down here and really lift. Then I'm going to bring it right here to neutral, and I'm going to put the pole down. And as I pull my pole over, I'm going to pull all through here. So this is a real big move for lats, for your back, for your core. So I'm going to put one end down, and I'm going to pull it upright as I bring my hand way up here. So for some of us that have real rounded shoulder issues, this is a big move. So drop your shoulders. See, my knees are bent. And I'm going to lift. And as I pull it up and I'm grabbing it, I'm really stretching myself out. Okay, one more on the other side. Here we go. Really pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, and come back. Nice. Okay, take your pole, put it under your legs. Okay, so it's right here. And then you're going to hold it like a pull-up bar, kind of like, see how I'm doing this? Okay, so what we're going to do is some sit backs, all right? We're going to do some sit backs. So I didn't say sit up, so don't get panicky and turn off the workout. No, this is a sit back, but we're going to use the pole. Okay, so I'm going to put my pole right here. I'm going to say rib cage up. I'm going to drop my shoulders. I'm just going to hang on here, keep my feet down. I'm going to rotate open, and I'm going to go back as far as I feel I can, and then I'm just going to come forward. Not all the way. I'm going to go down, hold it right there, and then come back up. Take a breath. Say rib cage up, shoulders down, open at the hip hinge. Hold it right there. And then we're going to go up, breath, up, breath. So you should be pulling through the stomach. So it's just a sit back, okay? So it's a sit back, and then you have to get back into the position, and then you sit back, and you hang out down there at the lowest level, and you say rib cage up, rib cage up, rib cage up. Pull, open, breathe. Rib cage up, exhale. So somebody will just get all fluttered at their breath. Number one, just make sure you're breathing. That's number one. As you're going down, you're kind of inhaling. As you come up, you kind of exhale. It's just kind of a natural kind of a thing. Okay, take a breath. See, I'm holding this right here. I'm just pulling it if I need to. Not much, but just a little bit. I'm holding it right up underneath there. Take a breath. Breath, 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 and bring it down. And go straight again. Okay, how are you feeling? You should be saying wonderful. Oh, I just feel so good. Because it's done. Okay, rotate to the side. All right, here's my chair. I can either use my chair to get up, or I can get up freestanding, I call it. So use your chair if you need to. Plant your foot, lean in, get up, or here, toes out, tighten your stomach, go to your feet, hang out right here, okay? Equalize, and you're up. Yeah!